Good morning, friends. Hey, how you doing? It is Tuesday morning. It is 9:30. It is time for Coffee on the Porch, friends. That's where you are. It is May 10th, 2022. Coffee on the Porch with Eric. That is the name of this gathering. A YouTube live gathering now that we have. Used to be on Facebook, no longer on Facebook because Facebook Live sucks. And so we are over here. We are over here on YouTube now, and I hope you're going to join us. Are you going to join us? Hope you will. Hope some folks will come in. Let me. I always have to make my print a little bigger so I can hear people, see people when they start to show up. So I'm here. Welcome. We have been on YouTube for a couple of weeks now, and seems to be going well. I kind of like it over here. It's a nice little neighborhood. Whoops, I'm kind of in my way. There, I got to move over here. Seems like it's going pretty well. We'll just wait for some folks to show up. I literally have nobody here right now. We used to have hundreds of viewers over on Facebook Live, friends. So this is taking some getting used to be over here on the YouTube, on YouTube Live. So I hope some people will join us. The whole point is the liveness. Good morning, Rick Lang. Welcome. Glad you found us. I am going to quickly post to Facebook that we are here in the event that some folks might be trying to find us, but might be unable to find us. So let me do that very quickly and see if live. Let's see my live video here. Well, it's not showing up. Not showing up for me, but I don't know. Maybe YouTube has the same problems. Maybe there's no perfect place to be, friends. Maybe that's what we're gonna find. But we are here live on Facebook. I am trying to, well, it's not showing up. Not showing up for me. I hope everybody else can find me because I can't find me. Wait, let me go to my channel. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's got the wrong date on it. That's part of it. Well, that's unfortunate. Hi, everybody. Everybody being four of you, please check in, say hi. Make sure that people know you're here. Share this among people that you know so that people can find us because we're going to need that. We're going to need people to find us here on Facebook. I know it's on YouTube. It's going to take some time to switch over. There are now 5 of you here, looks like. Good morning, friends. Glad you're coming by. We're going to get started in just a minute. We are here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's see if that works. To gather some people over. Good morning. There's now 5 of you here. I guess maybe it's just a little bit slower people showing up. Maybe people remembering that we are here rather than on on Facebook. Good morning. There you are. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Karen. Okay, I'm starting to see you, making me feel I'm not alone here in this world. That's what it's all about, is feeling not alone in this world. Karen says she's watching on her iPhone because she can't find it on her YouTube TV app. I don't know. Good morning, Mike. Yes, thank you, Mike. I noted that before you got here. Not sure what happened to that. I tried to have it with the correct title, but yeah, I actually I launched it correctly with the correct title, and somehow it's not correct. Well, friends, we're gonna have a few. Let's see. See if I can edit. Oh, I can. Okay. See, this is why YouTube is superior right here, because I can edit this title right here. Look at that. Things you couldn't do on Facebook Live. That's what this is right here. Boom. Okay, maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help people see us with the correct date on there. Well, friends, you're here. That's important. Those of you who are here, let me get my chat back up so I can see you. Yeah, Mike, glad to be here this morning. Good morning. Yeah, Susan Baxley saying it is so warm here and humid. It's already just about 80 degrees here in Dallas, Texas, and like 157% humidity. I mean, it's really, really humid. Our springs, for those of you who are not in this area, and Susan, see if you agree with this, they're just cloudy. They're cloudy till noon, somewhere between noon and 3 every day. Every day, cloudy. I think we've had 5 days of actual morning sun when the sun comes up in the morning. And every other day for months, not just a week or two, for months, it is cloudy till noonish to 3ish when they burn off, and then it's just an oven because it's humid because there's all this water in the sky. But it's not raining. Yes, thank you, Mike. Everybody, copy, paste, and share. That would be great. Share to your friends so other folks can find us. That would be extremely helpful. Susan, I'd be curious to know if that's your assessment. That I wrote that on Facebook the other day, that it just feels like that's where we are now, where it's just, and it's playing havoc on my yard. We got mushrooms in the front yard, just all over the freaking front yard growing. It's unbelievable. And this is the 3rd year for that, the mushrooms all over the front yard, because there's not enough sun in the morning. It stays too damp and coldish. And in the afternoon in the back over here, it's just blazing hot. So it's really annoying me. It's annoying me a lot. It's of all the things that annoy me in the world, this one is, and I can't do a thing about it. You can't either. I think it's climate change. I really do. I think that's what's happening here. So I told you that we would be on the porch, but we are not on the porch because I hadn't actually looked outside before I said that. And they are replacing a water main about 50 feet from my house. And there's a backhoe, which you are very likely to hear through the window over here in a minute. And they're like pounding with it and scraping with it, and it's a mess. I mean, you wouldn't have even been able to hear me, and I wouldn't have been able to hear myself. So, although it is a perfectly beautiful day to be on the porch, we are not on the porch. We are back here in the studio once again. And so, look, let's just get going, shall we? Let's get going with the day. This is Coffee on the Porch, and what we do here is we have some coffee, we do some conversation, and we play some music. We talk about spirituality, but the first thing we do, gotta fill up our cup here. Get a little coffee. Cheers, friends. Cheers. Once again, I failed to bring up the Onyx coffee box. I was really good about that for about 4 weeks, and then I've forgotten about it again. So, cheers. Whether you're drinking coffee, tea, whatever it is, breathe in, breathe out a bit. Oh, man. It's good to be here. Small crowd. We've lost people since we came over here to YouTube. I get that. I don't see another option, honestly. But you know, we'll build. I'm hoping we'll build an audience back up. I've doubled my subscribers in the last couple weeks. So that's the one thing to say as we get started here. A couple of reminders for you. If you are new or you're just stumbling into this on the internet, you can certainly be reminded to be here by, oh, did you hear that? That was the backhoe. If you'll simply text the letters COTP, that little acronym, to 214-241-1814, 214-241-1814. This is my chance to be an old-style DJ. Yeah, Susan says she's noticing the shade this year walking. Certainly glad that, yeah, I mean, glad during the walk that you're not having the sun beating on your head for sure, obviously. However, it is, it's really a mess for the growth of things. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel, whether you're on your phone or your laptop or whatever, or your desktop. You should be able to subscribe simply by hitting that button right there. And I hope you'll tell some others. I know it's a heavy lift, but we need to probably get up to about 1,000 subscribers. That seems like an awful lot since I just have about 200 right now. But I hope we can do that, and hope you'll tell people to find us here. I've talked to a lot of other live streamers who say they were able to build up to that level eventually. So we'll do that. We'll try to do that. We'll keep going. Keep going with things until then. In the meantime, let's get started. You know what we do first. We do this every week, and we start with this question. How is your soul? How you doing today? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe out, breathe in. Really ask yourself that question. How are you? How you hanging in there? Are you hanging in there? Everything okay? You stressed out? You excited about the coming of summer? You excited about the coming of summer? Write a comment here. Tell us how you doing. And then we'll spend some time beginning our conversation by talking about how you're doing. Karen, how are things up in Pennsylvania? How's your soul doing today? Sure wish that sun would come and come to stay. Oh, how is your soul today? What is it that you have to say? All right, let's see what you're saying here. Let's see what everybody's saying. Whoops. Can't leave the capo there. All right, let me see what you are saying in response to how is your soul today? How are you hanging out? Rick says this, my soul is good because I had a wonderful birthday. Happy birthday, happy late birthday, Rick. And then spent time with Tara in downtown Irving at Heritage Park. We had lunch at the Big State Fountain. I know exactly where that is, Rick. You know, Denise is from Old Irving, and South Irving. So yeah, I know that area well. Good. Glad you had a good time, buddy. Karen, I asked what the temps were there. She said sunny with a high of 77, but last Friday and Saturday it rained not stop for 2 days. Yeah, lots of people getting a lot of rain. We're getting some rain, mostly clouds. Oh, there's a beautiful dove right outside my window. I wish you could see this. It's beautiful. We just need a little more morning sun. That's all we need. There's a couple hours when the sun first pops up over the horizon. Just sun. It could get cloudy again midday. I'm okay with that. But just a little morning sun for the flower beds out there, and it would just be really nice. Sally, you got to tell us more about this. What's going on? She says she's stressed and depressed. I could guess. Probably guess pretty specifically what you're stressed and distressed about it. Mike Workman says, my soul was lifted this morning at 8:30 as we had the ribbon cutting on the new Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Were you there? Because did you see? Karen watched it. Look at that. You guys were doing the same thing at 8:30 this morning. Karen says, all is well for her. Lots of little things on my plate to take care of, which can be overwhelming. In the grand scheme of things, I'm blessed. Susan Baxley says, my soul is good. Looking forward to my summer. What adventures are you having this summer? I'd be curious to know about that. Oh, you watched online, Mike? Yeah. So the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, man. So between that and Okemah, there's some pretty cool music reasons to go to that part of Oklahoma, isn't there? Wow. You could visit the Guthrie Center, and then now the new Bob Dylan Center. That's pretty freaking cool, man. That's awesome. Susan, what are your adventures this summer? I think I just asked that. I'm curious to know. Um, Linda says she's happy adjusting to changes and slowing down. Yeah, good, you friends. Good. I am doing okay. Things with my mom seem to be at a kind of a stable plateau, which, based on my own previous experience with people who are going through hospice, seems to be. Hey, good morning, Cindy Barrett. Welcome. We're answering the question, how is your soul? How's your soul today? Uh, my understanding is there's, and I've seen before, often a plateau for people for a while, and then it sort of falls off again, lower. So we're kind of at a little plateau, but she's very, very weak. I think she's days away from probably being bedridden completely, in the bed without being able to even get up and sit up in a chair, which is all she can do. She's not going anywhere. She's getting up, sitting in a chair. Very weak, lost more weight. Hospice nurse coming this morning for her routine weekly visit. So it's just progressing along. I've really enjoyed church the last couple of months, worship. For those of you who come to see us at Kessler Park, it's really been great to see people in the real world. I've said before, the just hearing people pray the Lord's Prayer as a group is such a powerful thing. That collective, to hear that the cadence, it's almost like a chant. It really is, because we say it with that same cadence every time. And I know that gets to be, there's some people who say, well, that's boring, it's not a real prayer. You're not praying that from your heart. Well, you can still pray it from your heart while also praying it with a cadence. That's possible. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. And and that cadence, the familiarity of that, as almost a Gregorian chant. I really, really love. I love the cadence of the prayed Lord's Prayer. Hey, buddy, my dear friend Frank Rom, fellow Methodist pastor and friend of mine since we were 16 years old, is here. Good to see you, man. So, Frank, we're trying to build the audience here on YouTube. I've been talking about this with them. I'm abandoning Facebook Live because Facebook first abandoned me. I can't live stream to my page anymore, so I don't know why. No particular reason. You were only 15. Yeah. Frank loves to remind me that he is a few months younger than me, and that I am the oldest of our cohort, our friends, by mere months. But man, he loves that. Sally says this: depression is the constant feeling. Mother's Day was so hard. That was part of it. Sally, I'm going to be really honest. I am right with you with that today, my friend. It was really hard for me to get through church Sunday. I'll be honest. To stand up there and say Happy Mother's Day, knowing with a pretty bedrock certainty that this is our last Mother's Day with my mother. It was really hard. I was dreading this. I felt sick Saturday night into Sunday morning. I felt very, very physically ill. Getting ready for church. It was fine in the moment, but it was the dread of it was, and then to go, I knew we would be going to see her that afternoon. And of course, the reality is she can't really talk much, so she mainly just sits in the chair and she watches Castle. She loves the show Castle. So we had a lunch and hung out with her for a bit. So I'm with you, Sally. Yeah, and Karen's giving you a cyber hug. I know it's a hard time. That's one of the things we've never really. I'm very proud of the churches I've been a part of that have never overemphasized Mother's Day. There's some churches that let's make this huge freaking deal out of it, and make people the oldest mother stand up. Well, sometimes the oldest mother can't stand up. I mean, just be careful asking that question. Or the youngest mother, or the whatever. And the reality is, although it's a beautiful day for many of us, it's a very painful day for many others, either people who've lost their mothers, or frankly, some people who didn't have a very good mother. I'm much more aware of this than I used to be as a kid, because my mom felt like a saint. I was not aware of how elevating motherhood, and everybody talking about how great their mothers were, had a downside to all those who had a difficult and painful relationship with their mother. It becomes kind of a wounding, really. So I try to be more sensitive to that than I used to be. I've written some fun blogs since we got on to Mother's Day. Actually, I think I got us on to Mother's Day. I will. I know Mother's Day is over, but I would love for you to read this stuff. Let me find this. There we go. Now see, this is another great thing about the new situation here, because it allows me to find these links a lot easier. Holy cow, that was a lot easier. There we go. Let me post this. Boom, boom. Here's a blog I wrote back in 2007 about the very first Mother's Day. We don't want to spend all of our time on this morning, but the very first Mother's Day wasn't about cards. It wasn't about flowers or roses or any of that kind of stuff. The very first Mother's Day was an anti-war protest. This is absolutely true. An anti-war protest organized by Julia Ward Howe. Julia Ward Howe is famous for writing the Battle Hymn of the Republic, that great old hymn. And she had lived through the Civil War and was deeply scarred, as everybody in her time was scarred by the Civil War. And in the wake of that, saw other wars starting up again in Europe. And she was heartbroken. Saw war starting, the Mexican-American War, and the wars wars here in Texas. No, actually, I've got my history wrong. Anyway, there were more wars, mostly in Europe, I believe, if I'm remembering this right. And she was heartbroken about it, and so she thought, who can speak against war better than mothers? Who can really make the moral point that war is painful and horrible more than mothers? And so there's these great quotes here. Let me read you part of this. We will not. This is the first Mother's Day proclamation ever. Quote, "We will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands will not come to us reeking with carnage for caress and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we've been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, the women of one country, will be too tender to those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, and nor violence indicate possession." Whoa! That was the first Mother's Day proclamation. How about that? And as it happened, Mother's Day did get co-opted. That Mother's Day sort of fell aside. The first Mother's Day celebrations didn't quite last as an anti-war protest, and it came back as more of a traditional celebration of mothers, and that was led by a dear United Methodist woman named Anna Jarvis, and there I've just posted a blog about her work. But even Anna Jarvis got frustrated eventually because she thought that Mother's Day had been co-opted. Let me read you some of the things. Anna Jarvis was a dear United Methodist, and she pushed for this nationalized celebration of mothers that became Mother's Day. But she said this. This is what she said late in life as she looked at what it had become. She said, commercialization of Mother's Day is growing every year. Since the movement has spread to all parts of the world, many things have tried to attach themselves because of the success. The white carnation is the emblem of the Mother's Day because it typifies beauty, truth, fidelity, and motherly love. This is an emblem of Mother's Day, but it does not mean that people should wear a white carnation. This false idea has led to florists flagrantly boosting the price of white carnations for the Mother's Day trade. She was furious that it had become commercialization. Commercialization. Susan Baxley says, if mothers ran the world, we would be much better. I tend to think that, Susan. I really do. I really, really do. Yeah. Yeah. And Carol Ann points out, the Sting song, do the Russians love their children too? Yeah. Yeah, the same thing. So that's Mother's Day. There's a little Mother's Day conversation for you. By the way, ironically, the same thing happened with Cinco de Mayo. Got commercialized. I can't tell you how many people, particularly white people, tell me that, Cinco de Mayo is just something from the beer companies. That's what they say. No. Cinco de Mayo is a commemoration of the Battle of Puebla outside of Mexico City, where poor people repelled the invasion of the French. It's true. Look it up. And for years, that celebration formed here in the United States. There was something called the Chicano movement in the 70s and 80s, and Cinco de Mayo was their rallying cry because it was a poor people's rising up against an empire. It was only in the 80s that the beer companies said, we could make a little money off of this. So anyway, all that, those are two holidays of the last week, just reframing those so that we remember their true history. Yeah, good call. Good call about the song Russians, as Frank says. Susan Baxley says, yes, she's going to Ireland in June. I'm super jealous about that, by the way. And then going on the road trip with Erica and Aaron for her sabbatical, all the way to Canada, then down the West Coast, visiting as many national parks, gone the entire month of July. Susan, I am, good morning, Nancy. Yeah, Christmas is also commercialized. I am of the opinion, Susan, I'd be curious to know, but this is what I'm hearing, a heck of a lot of people going to be gone this summer. I'd be curious to hear from all of you, where, even if you're not Kessler Park folks, whether folks are actually even going to be around this summer. Because I have a sense that we're going to have a lot of people traveling. A lot of people out, a lot of people traveling. So, I mean, it's fine. I totally get it, but I'm trying to plan in my head for that and realize that we're not done with this lull time. I was with Richie Butler, the pastor of St. Luke, last night, and we both said this. It'd just be nice to have 6 months where there's not any major interruption, like a typical fall or a typical spring. We really haven't had that yet. This was close, spring, but people are still tentative. They're clearly still tentative about coming back, and I kind of tend to think that maybe the fall is going to be that for us. I hope. Carol Ann is asking, anything y'all would recommend in Greece, Athens, Santorini? I've never been there, but I would love it. Susan maybe has been there. I don't know. Got my UT mug today, by the way. Hook 'em horns, Frank. So let's get with a little music, shall we? And I wanted to. Something happened last night, late last night. I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I understand. I know people are very upset about the potential ruling about abortion. I really do understand that. We talked about this last week here on Coffee on the Porch. I did talk about my support for the pro-choice position. And more than that, my rejection of the I think, false scriptural interpretation that life begins at conception, which cannot be, or else God is the biggest murderer on the planet because of the obvious number of miscarriages that happen in nature. If life begins at conception and every life is sacred and holy and intended by God at that moment, then God is the biggest murderer of anyone and the biggest abortionist of anyone. And that cannot be true. Cannot be true. So, but we miss the nuance of this conversation big time. Both of these trips you're taking this year, were supposed to be in 2020. Wow. Last night, a friend of mine posted that there were protests outside Justice Kavanaugh's home. And we've talked about this before on Coffee on the Porch, but I do want to say this because I know people are angry and frustrated, and there were people really happy about it, saying that he was complaining about his right to privacy being violated. And ironically, this is all about the right to privacy. And I just want to say that actually I agree with not protesting at his house. I've been to a million protests, but I do believe that we have to draw a fine line at people's homes. We really do. In my opinion, everyone's free to disagree with this, but I have intentionally gone home when I have learned that a protest has intended to be at somebody's private home. I just can't. I believe in a right to privacy. I believe we all have that right to privacy in our own homes. And that right to privacy undergirds so many of our rights. And as we understand the conversation, a lot of what's being talked about now with the abortion ruling is basing it on these justices now saying we don't have that right to privacy, that it doesn't exist. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's not the way they're going, but that's the conversation that they're going to now argue we don't have that right. And of course, if that's true, then many of the other rulings of the past 20 years are also in jeopardy because they are also based on that same right to privacy. Same-sex marriage, interracial marriage, the Loving decision. All of these are based on a fundamental right to privacy. And so I'm super concerned about this. And I do believe we have that right. And so I would ask all those protesting at Kavanaugh's house to think about the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Now, maybe he's not going to. Maybe he's going to do the ruling. In fact, I think it's likely. Yeah. Frank Rahm says the right to privacy didn't exist 20 years ago. Well, that's fundamental to their conservative view. That's fundamental to their conservative view that none of us have a right to privacy. And if we don't have a right to privacy, then many of our other rights fall, including search and seizure. If you don't have a right to privacy, then the government can literally come into your home at any point and any time. So obviously, everyone believes in a right to privacy up to a certain point, even Justice Scalia. But yeah, exactly right. Carol Ann says this: if we lose the right to privacy, then let's see a list of his meds online. Yeah, sure. If that's the way it goes, I'm afraid we're in for a really ugly time. where there will be some really angry doxing of people. I'm really concerned about it. The right to privacy is about this trust that we all should have in each other, that we all are able to make decisions for our lives, especially those of us who are adults. And if we lose that, then we're going to be in a really, really ugly place. So, anyway, it's a tough time. It's a very difficult time. Well, listen, how about some music? So I don't countenance protesting at somebody's private home, but as you know and must know, I'm not anti-protest. So Frank and I used to be in a band together. And we did this song. And our mutual friend John Fleming sent me the lyrics to this song as a poster a few years ago. Used to love to sing this song with the band. This is an old Doobie Brothers song by Michael McDonald, and I love this chord. Listen to that, man. How about that? Let me try this. Taking it to the street. No more people running. No more people hiding. Taking it to the street. Take this message to my brother. You will find him everywhere. Wherever people live together, tied by poverty's despair. Telling me the things you're gonna do for me. I ain't blind and I don't like what I think I see. Taking it to the street. Taking it to the street. No more people running. No more people hiding. No more people running. Taking it to the street. Taking it to the street. How about that? Taking It to the Street by the Doobie Brothers, written by the great Michael McDonald. That was kind of crazy, wasn't it? I believe in protest. That's part of why I wanted to play that today. I believe that we have the right to protest, but we also have the right to privacy. And we got to balance those things. And for me, as a Christian, the overarching, yeah, very interesting morning conversation, Susan says. Mother's Day, travel, and abortion. Yeah, yeah, that's how we roll here, Susan. Uh, I believe in our right to protest, and I also believe in our right to privacy, and we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And so let's, yeah, just for all that you guys can influence, and it's just a small group of us here today. Let's try to be as kind as we can, especially to those that we disagree with. And that's super hard right now. Super, super hard. I get it and I understand it. Karen saying instead of going to Woody Fest, she's been to 20 out of 25. Going to Maine with Ellis Paul. Nice, in June. Is Ellis going to be at Kerrville? I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. Then in September, we'll see the Passion Play in Oberammergau. Is that correct? I believe that's right. So yes, it's only every 10 years and rescheduled from 2020. Good. That should be fantastic. That should be wonderful. Yeah, small but mighty group today. So I got to get myself a bit more coffee. So at Kessler Park during these post-Easter weeks, cheers. We're looking at the resurrection stories of Jesus, and more than that, we're looking at the we're looking at the resurrection stories of Jesus using the theme: where did Jesus go? Where did he go after the resurrection? Where did he visit? Who did he see? What did he do? This comes from Diana Butler Bass and something that she had said, which really struck me powerfully, and I think is still powerful to me today. And that is that Jesus never goes back to the tomb. Jesus never goes back to the cross. Some Christians talk about how the cross is all there is. We stand and fall on the cross, the bloody atonement theology idea, which you've heard me say many times I can't countenance. But Diana Butler Bass points out, if the cross was so important, Jesus never went back there. After he was resurrected, he could have gone back, said, look, see how I overcame the cross? No, he simply focuses on his resurrected life, and he goes to some very different places. He doesn't go back to the cross, but he does go back to the table. He goes back to the table. And the indication in both the Gospel of John and the Gospel of Mark is that it's the same table that they had the Last Supper at. That he's literally going back to that place as if to repetitively emphasize its importance. To say to everyone in that moment, this is what you have to focus on. Community, being with each other, sacrament, food, fellowship, conversation, community. The incarnational experience of all of us together. So that's our theme during this season after Easter. And that's the green drink. There you go. Breakfast of Champions, followed by a swig of water. This is like a water chaser. I got to have both of those things. Green drink and a water chaser. But I think that's a very compelling theory that Diana Butler Bass has, that that Jesus never goes back to the cross. And that we should pay attention to the places that he does go. So I said during during this month I would play my own songs, and I then just lied and played a Doobie Brothers song. But this is going to be a song of mine, because this week in the scripture, this Sunday, at least at Kessler Park, we're going to focus on the passage where Jesus has another resurrection experience, and that is at the lakeshore. He appears to them at a lakeshore, and what do there? They eat a meal together. They have fish for breakfast, which to me seems like one of the grossest things you could ever do. Fine, not my jam, fish for breakfast, but that's what they do. They cook a little broiled fish over the baked fish over the fire, the open fire, and they eat it together. And of course, this is meant to, we believe, meant to emphasize and show Jesus's real humanity, that he really is resurrected in the body and in the here and now. And the present day, the here and now, became important to those early Christians. They used to have love feasts where they brought all their communal food. We joke about potlucks, but they really did have these big feasts where they would all gather together as a community, and that, yes, they would celebrate communion, but they would also just eat in fellowship. So I'd like to play a song of mine. This is a song about the lake. About the lake shore. It was inspired by our own lake house and by White Rock Lake separately, and inspired mostly by a picture a friend gave me, just a photograph that he took of the lake. It was sort of an impressionistic view of a sunset. And the whole song just sort of spun out from that. But in honor of this scripture where Jesus goes by the lake, this song is called Walk With Me. Walk with me down by the lakeside, just as the sun disappears, and we'll skip a few stones on the smooth side, one for each thrown away fear. And as shadows fall, we can pause for the call of the night breeze. Waves and the wind, they'll remind us again we're still free. Walk with me down by the lake shore, just as water and sky start to glow, and the glow lights this trail other feet wore, marking each step we now go. And with each footfall we're reminded of all we could still see. So as darkness grows, and even when our pace slows, we're still free. Still free. down by the lake edge, just as the moon rises high, and we'll sing our goodbyes to the sunset and a chorus up to the night sky. And in the calm of the night, we're amazed by the sights we can still see. So as night descends, when our journey ends, we're still free. Still free. Still free. Walk with me down by the lakeside, just as the sun disappears, and we'll skip a few stones on the smooth side, one for each thrown away fear. Walk with Me. It's a song by me. Song written by me called Walk with Me. As we remember the places Jesus went around the lake. Did you like that one, Sally? I like that one a lot. I really do. That one is tracked and exists on SoundCloud, which I can't find right now. It doesn't matter. You can look it up. Google Eric Folkert's SoundCloud. Did you like that one? Yeah, I really like that one a lot. That's going to be on the record whenever the record comes out. It's all tracked and ready to go. It's sitting right here on my computer and ready to go as soon as I get my butt in gear and do the liner notes and all that stuff. I mean, that's literally where we are. We're very close to a record where that song comes out. So pretty excited about that. Thank you, Larry. Oh, hey, Larry. Good to see you, buddy. So in that post-resurrection season, Jesus appears around the table. Jesus appears on the road, on the trail to Emmaus, or in the Gospel of Mark, it just says in the country with two people. And Jesus appears by the lakeshore. That physical world, one of the things that I've been reading, where'd the book go? Sorry. Been reading a book by this book by these two powerful women called Proverbs of Ashes. Well, now I'm going to have to read their names. Rita Nakashima Brock and Rebecca Ann Parker. And this is a memoir. They also have a book called about paradise, which I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I don't see it here. I don't know what I did with that one. Well, anyway, where they point out that during the first 1,000 years of Christianity, 1,000 years, you could rarely find art that depicted the crucifixion, the actual crucifixion, a bloody body of Jesus. It's very common now, everywhere, between Mel Gibson's gory movies and bloody life-size crucifix. We were talking about this with Maria the other day. When she was a kid, we went to a Christmas light display in East Texas on the way to the lake house. It seemed like a beautiful, wonderful thing to do. It's somewhere between Terrell and Canton. I don't remember exactly where, right on the highway. You pay your $10 and you drive in your car and you listen to the music on the radio, and it's Mickey Mouse and it's all these lights, and you drive through these lights, and it's really, really wonderful. And then at the very end, they have some scenes from the life of Jesus. It's like, okay, Christmas is about Jesus' birth, so there's Jesus being born. These are life-size, 6-foot-tall mannequins that look very, very lifelike as you can see them from your car. Jesus by the lakeshore with the disciples, and then the last one is Jesus on the cross. Life-size, fully bloody Jesus on the cross. And my daughter, Maria, she still remembers this from the back seat, saw it and burst out crying. Just burst out crying, like heaving tears. And the entire rest of the way home was just unable to catch her breath for the tears. I was so pissed, I got to tell you, because it felt so manipulative, so incredibly manipulative of our emotions to tee us up with all this joy and happy ha-ha, and then to hit us with that bloody atonement message. The thing that Diana Butler Bass has said, and the thing that Nakashima Brock and Parker have said in their books, is that for almost 1,000 years, that cross was not as emphasized as it is today in Western Christianity. Instead, we talked about fellowship. We talked about in Christ there is no East and West, no male and female, no slave and free. We are all one. The community was what was important. Life was what was important. And they absolutely talked about the cross, but they talked much more about the resurrected Jesus and about the life in the here and now, and the fact that paradise was not sometime just to come, but right here, right now, as Jesus says, the kingdom of God is within you. Today, the scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. So Jesus, where did Jesus go? He went by the lake shore. He went on the trail. He went to the table. And he was with people. He never went back to the cross, never once. And so why should we? If he didn't, why should we? Aren't we supposed to follow him? So follow Jesus into life. Follow Jesus into your resurrected life, into a life of hope in this world, around tables, fellowshipping, drinking wine, laughing, being together. The pandemic has made all that stuff hard, but now's the time to start embracing that again. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's live as people of hope. And so that's why the song Walk With Me today, as we remember the places that Jesus went. So you're going to see a song on here that I actually did not do today. I was going to, because we were going to be on the porch, I was going to do This Old Porch. But as I told you at the beginning, there is a backhoe 50 feet from the front porch, and that would not have gone well. So I will reserve that. I will reserve the right to do that next week, when hopefully we will be back on the porch again. We did do Taking It to the Streets, the old Doobie Brothers classic written by the great Michael McDonald, and we did Walk With Me, a song written by me. And yeah, so anyway, friends, thank you for joining us. We continue. Please share this. Share this on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your social media. Really, I'm going to need your help pulling people back over. Our views, I'm just going to be honest, are down hundreds less than they were over on Facebook. That may just be the way that YouTube counts views. Yeah, today it would have been This Old Backhoe. That's exactly right. And it would have been fun for anybody. So we'll build up this audience again. We'll try to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's supposed to help people find us and get us more views. I'll keep being here. I enjoy being with you. I always enjoy the conversation. We often never know where it's going to go. Thank you for sharing, as you always do. Thank you for showing up. Continue to find us in the Facebook group, Coffee on the Porch group on Facebook, and come see us at Kessler Park on Sundays. And until the next time we are together, friends, this has been Coffee on the Porch. God bless you and keep you. Bye-bye.